Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaffer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you. Welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaffer. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are having a phenomenal, beautiful, inspiring day. I am so excited to jump into today's episode because I feel like after being in this entrepreneurship space for 7 years now, I feel like one of the biggest things that I had a misconception about was what could be potentially blocking my success. I was always in this mindset of if I only did more work, if I only just performed more, if I only just added in 10 more reps and just kept going and burnt myself out and really just did every single thing that I could to get to that next level, then I would actually get to that next level. But through the podcast episodes that I've shared before, even when I have worked 12-hour days, 10-hour days, there has still been some level of disconnect that was holding me back from actually seeing the kind of success, the kind of scalability, and the kind of results that I deeply desired. So today I want to chat about one thing that could potentially be holding you back and blocking the success that you've always dreamt of having through your business. Maybe it's even through just your workspace in general, in your career, wherever that you are wanting to have more success in. This one thing could be impacting you more than you realize, and that is the ability to receive. So there's so many different ways that not being able to receive all that you could can start to play into your life right now, or can start showing up in your life right now. And I'm going to give you guys a couple different ways that you can start to recognize this. This comes into the simplest of things with when somebody gives you a compliment. Let's say that you're at a store and someone walks up to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely love your outfit. It's so cute." And your response, I want you to actually think about if that were to happen to you, how would you respond? Give yourself a couple seconds here. Now, if you were to respond and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much," that is actually more uncommon than we realize. Most of the time when someone gives us a compliment, we instantly say, "Oh, I bought it on sale." "Oh, this old thing, it's nothing." Or someone compliments your hair and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't even washed it in 3 days. Thanks, but it's so old. Or whatever. We almost deflect the confident, or we deflect the compliment coming in. And this is just a simple way that we can start to recognize if we are actually comfortable with receiving. When someone is just effortlessly giving us praise or admiration or celebrating us or just acknowledging us for who we are or what we do or the work that we've been up to or whatever, if you start to deflect and if you start to kind of go into explaining something or whatever, that can be a small example of how you may be blocking your ability to receive. And then this ends up playing out in your career or in your business. So with that being said, instead, the next time that somebody actually gives you a compliment or says something that you're doing a really great job, instead of deflecting it, just allow yourself to actually let it sink in, let yourself receive it, and be so appreciative of it. This was actually something that I realized that I used to do years ago, and now I'm actually a lot more intentional about it, because when you start to show up from this more intentional space of allowing yourself to receive, whether that's someone buying you a cup of coffee because they're excited to see you, or somebody else gifting you a free call with them or something like that, just being okay with receiving, I think that it shows the universe that you're open to receive, you want to receive more, and at the end of the day that you want more support. And I think that every single one of us here can absolutely use some more support here. Another great example of this is not ever wanting to be celebrated or cheered on. So sometimes we will almost kind of hide the successes that we're having, and we won't want to tell people because we don't want to be the center of attention. Or a great example might be your birthday. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, where all these people are giving you so much praise and just they're happy to see you. They're so grateful for the person that you are, and you feel kind of uncomfortable or weird. Or if someone's gifting you something and it's hard for you to just like simply accept it, that's another way that you could start to recognize like maybe you need to be doing some work on your ability to receive. Maybe there's some past version of yourself that decided, oh, it's not safe to receive, or if I receive this, that person's automatically going to expect something back, or you have to go above and beyond to make sure that they know that you're deserving of it. Sometimes these things actually manifest in behaviors, and we start to recognize this whenever you're getting into that procrastination mode. Maybe you're really easily distracted when you know you need to be doing something. You know you should be taking actions in your business or in your career or whatever. You know you should be doing things, but you end up finding yourself doing something completely different than the thing that you said you were going to do. That is another way that these beliefs could be playing out as behaviors in our experience. If you start to notice that you're overthinking things, you're second guessing things, you're constantly wondering what you're doing wrong, you're just getting in your head all the time about all the different ways that something could fail, those are also ways that you can maybe be in a position where you're not actually in a place to receive, because some part of you maybe doesn't believe that you're worthy of receiving that. Maybe there's some aspect of you that's actually subconsciously keeping you safe by keeping you in the same place. And this is where that word self-sabotage comes up a lot. I've even talked about this for sure on the podcast, where sometimes we will self-sabotage. We will keep ourselves safe, keep ourselves in the same position because we don't want to experience change, because to our minds, change is actually scary. Change is really, it can create some anxiety and some fear within us. And so therefore, if we can just stay safe, if we don't accept help from someone who could make our business grow or could make our career better, if we don't accept help, or if we don't go above and beyond with our actions that we're taking, then that will keep us in the same spot. If we don't take the actions that we know will move the needle, then we'll just stay in the same spot. And again, we're procrastinating, we're not taking those actions, then we're going to stay in this same place that we've been in for the last maybe year, and subconsciously we will be kind of self-sabotaging, but also just keeping ourselves safe. Those are both like one and the same. We're keeping ourselves safe from growing, from expanding, because there's some aspect of us that's worried, like, oh my gosh, if I get all this success, can I maintain it? Like, can I actually handle that? Or if I were to scale my business to that level, like, I'm gonna have to take care of people, or people are gonna want things from me. Our brain starts to spin with all of these extra ideas and things that actually will keep us in the same place. And a lot of this happens in the background. A lot of this happens in places that we aren't even aware of. So this is happening subconsciously. It's not happening in your conscious mind where you're noticing this thought pattern. Maybe sometimes you notice the thoughts starting to spin out of control and you start to spiral a little bit, but a lot of times this is happening completely on autopilot without us even realizing it, because 95% of our experience, it's either 90 to 95% of our experience is run by our subconscious mind. And out of all the thoughts that we have in a day, 90% of those are repeated. They are just like literally on autopilot. So when we start to recognize these things, you start to realize that maybe there is something in your subconscious that's actually keeping you stuck. Maybe there's something internal that's keeping you stuck, not taking more action or whatever. We all know those different kinds of people who work really, really hard for a little amount of money. We know those people who work not a lot and they make a lot of money. We know those people who are kind of in that middle place where they're working a lot, but they're not making a lot. And it's just kind of that, like, they're just making enough to get by. And so this is where, if you're able to do some of the subconscious work, if you're able to really dive in deep and see, okay, are my true beliefs like underneath, not like the things that you can come up with right now as I'm thinking of this, but more so like the things underneath that usually take some journaling to get through, some meditation, some breath work, or some intentional coaching to get through. Once you start to recognize those deeper layers that could be subtly playing out in your reality, that's actually causing a bigger result than you think that it is, that is where you start to really get into like kind of the meat and potatoes. You start to get into like the shadow work and the actual work that's needed to, again, move the needle forward and actually see the success that you're looking for. This is why most entrepreneurs credit their mindset to like 80 to 90% of their success, because if our mindset is in this place where we're constantly doubting ourselves, we're constantly fearful, we're constantly thinking, oh my gosh, that's not good enough, we're in perfectionism, we're not posting the things that we want to post because we're worried about what others are going to think about us, and we're getting in our head that much, this is where it can sabotage the success that you desire, because there is some part of you that is actually not in congruency with where you're wanting to go. There is some part of you who's deeply afraid of what this life is going to look like, or what could come from the success that you desire, what could come from these $10,000, $15,000 months. I'm not saying this is always the case, but for a lot of us, this is actually holding us back more than we realize. And that's why it's so important to do that internal work, because if we do not, then these things continue to play out, even at those really, like, you can still make success. I'm not saying at all that you cannot make success without having this mindset like in check, because you absolutely can. You can still make a lot of money with a poor mindset. But the thing that happens is that then you're not able to enjoy any of the money that you make. So any of the money that you make, like, was it all really worth? What is the money all really worth if you are at the end of the day still overthinking, still unhappy, thinking you're not good enough, like doubting yourself, in fear, in stress mode, constantly creating all of this chaos in your mind? Like, what is it all worth if that's what you're experiencing on a daily basis? Like, yeah, your bank account looks great, but then on the other side, like, you're literally going to sleep every single day not feeling fulfilled, not feeling good enough, like not grateful for the reality that you're living in, that you once at one point prayed for. Like, it really is such a mind fuck at the end of the day. I've noticed this even with some celebrities, like, or some people that are extremely successful in the entrepreneurship space. They have made 9 figures, like 10 figures even. They've made all kinds of money, but they're still sitting there spiraling in their head every single day, wondering if they're ever going to feel good, if they're ever going to get to that place of happiness. They're putting happiness in the future rather than creating it from their current experience through doing the internal work that is necessary to come to peace with ourselves. Like, there is work to be done to be at peace with ourselves on a daily basis. Like, we are not meant to live in constant stress, fear, anxiety, doubt, overthinking, all of these things. But the reality is, as business owners, or in people who are just highly ambitious in general, that can become the mindset that we get into. And then again, we're not enjoying our life. Like, even in the most beautiful moments, we can be staring out at the most beautiful sunset, yet we're sitting there worried about, oh my gosh, is it all going to go away tomorrow? And am I going to have the money to pay for my bills, or whatever, wherever our mind is spiraling to? And that is why it's so important to do this kind of work that truly changes the way that you believe in yourself and the perspective that you have out on life. Because once you change internally, your external gets to change. Once you become the most confident and clear version of yourself, that is where the magic starts to actually happen, because not only are you making more money, but you're actually enjoying your experience and you're enjoying the process. Then you're inspiring others, and it just really goes so much further than we ever could have imagined. And if this is the kind of stuff that you know you need right now, I know that this was the kind of work that I know I needed to do, because I have the fucking work ethic. Like, I know that I can work so incredibly well. I know I have the ambition. I know that I have all of that, but I didn't know that there was other things under the surface that could be potentially sabotaging me and keeping me in the same spot and not allowing me to move forward in the directions that I want to go in. If that is something that you know that you need right now, I have a masterclass that's coming up on Wednesday, a couple days from now after this episode goes live, and we are diving so deep into all of this work. We are going to help you become a client magnet through your belief systems, through your systems and your structures, through your content creation, attraction marketing, manifestation, all of the things. This is going to give you everything that you need so you can actually start to create those high cash consistent months and attracting new clients with ease, so that you can actually have the balance and you can actually enjoy your life while you're creating the kind of success that you truly deeply desire. If you'd like to be there, DM me on Instagram 820, or you can go ahead and click the link underneath this podcast and you will be able to register there as well. Now, to fix this, you really do have to do that internal work. And this is the work that so many of us want to avoid. We don't want to look inwards. We just want to go out and just produce more, take more actions, burn ourselves out, like not allow us to even enjoy the success, not allow us to even enjoy the work that we're doing. We just literally throw ourselves completely into that. And we're not even, again, seeing that progress that we'd like. So when you start to go internal, you start to recognize there's maybe these things that are not in alignment, not in congruence with where you're wanting to go. And therefore, when you start to align these things, when you start to actually get all of this systemized and simplified and really clear, you're able to step into a version of yourself who moves with that clarity, moves with that confidence, and goes after the things that she truly desires. A lot of times we don't want to get into this kind of work because we want to just stay in the most positive, high vibe state. And I 110% understand that, because I used to be that way too. I never wanted to really do any of the quote unquote shadow work or do the internal belief work, because I was scared that if I let that side of me talk, if I let any aspect of myself say, oh my gosh, like I don't really believe in my success, or if I whispered those things, I thought, oh my gosh, well, since I know manifestation, I know that like attracts like, then I'm going to attract that into my life, and that's going to become my reality. And what we don't realize is that's already within us. If we don't say it out loud, like that doesn't matter. It's already within us. It's already a belief system that we're choosing to ignore. We're choosing to push down. We're choosing to act like it's not there. And again, we're showing up in this toxic positivity way. And that is not the way to create the kind of success that you want. If you want to enjoy your life and actually have peace of mind, you have to tackle these thought processes head on, whether that's through journaling, coaching, doing the internal work. That is how you free yourself of those internal dialogues that are not supportive of the success that you desire. And it doesn't happen overnight. If you think about it, like you're 20, 25, 30, 40 years old right now, listening to this right now. And if you're just kind of getting into all of this stuff in the last, 5 years, you still have work to do. Like there is absolutely work to be done at every single level. And what I start to notice is that as you start to do this work, you become so much more confident. You become so much more connected with yourself and aware of the things that you need to deal with. And therefore, once you have that awareness, you're able to take action from that level of awareness. You're able to take action from this place of, okay, I know what I need to do so that I don't end up creating that same belief, or I don't end up creating that same toxic behavior or pattern or whatever that it might be. These thought processes that maybe aren't as quote unquote positive, they need to be addressed. They need to be acknowledged. They need to have space to actually let go of them. And once you start to do this kind of internal work, that is when everything external really starts to shift. And I know that so many of us who are listening right now, we know that there is work to be done. I think that that's the reality of the kind of people who I attract, is like, we know there's work to be done. I just think that it sometimes can be challenging when this is the work to be done. And a lot of times we have so much resistance with sitting down and doing the journal prompts, or finally like taking that leap on that investment or whatever, because we get worried that, okay, if I do this, now I'm going to have to quote unquote shift my identity, or now I'm gonna have to become a new person, or what if I don't have the same friends or whatever. And I know that the people who listen to this podcast, we truly want growth. Therefore, we're willing to do the necessary things that will get us to the other side. And we're willing to face these challenges that internally we know will make a huge difference externally. Sometimes the work that we think it is not doing more, but it's being more. When you show up from this place of full-on belief and knowing that you deserve the success that you have, when that is the constant belief, that is where you get to create things from that place. Like, I'm sure every single one of us know that one person in our lives that they just fucking go after whatever that it is that they want. Maybe I'm that person for you. I'm like, I do not care if I'm quote unquote not qualified. I'm gonna go after it. Like, I will put myself in the rooms that I know I want to be in, even if it makes me, even if it challenges me to step up to that level. That is what I'm committed to, because I'm committed to being exceptional. And when you show up from that place of doing the exceptional work and the internal matches the external, that is where you're able to get out of that second guessing, get out of that overthinking, get out of that mindset that's not supporting you, and instead create the reality that you truly want. Again, this is the kind of energy, this is the kind of content that we're going to be diving in so deep in my masterclass. It's a free masterclass. It's for women who want more out of their life, want to attract more clients through social media, are ready to like step into that next level where we have the consistent income that we have been craving for far too long. The reason why we started our businesses in the first place. We're going to be breaking down the 4-step process that really helps you bridge that gap there. I'll be giving you the structures, the systems and the beliefs that are necessary for you to create the success that you are longing for. If you have any questions, you can message me on Instagram, reply 820 to me on my DMs, on any of my stories, or go ahead and click the link below and you can register and join us completely for free. I cannot wait to see you there. It is going to be August 20th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you can't make it then, you can of course get on the recording. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, if you can't make it, you'll get the recording, but being there live is just such a vibe. We all have so many breakthroughs on these types of calls because we're actually realizing that there's so many other people going through what we're going through. And when other people are sharing their breakthroughs, it allows us to also have those breakthroughs. So if you desire to be there, I'd love to have you. I cannot wait to see you on. I hope that this has inspired you to maybe do some more of that internal work, dive a little bit deeper, and unlock the kind of success that you've always dreamt of. I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.